3, 2, 1.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper, and it's time for TSS Fantasy.
Oh.
That's what it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fantasy Jesus.
Oh.
I'm here to save your fantasy roster.
Oh.
Fantasy Jesus. It worked for The Rock and it's gonna work for me.
Yeah.
Oh.
TSS Fantasy.
Oh.
Yeah. TSS Fantasy.
Oh.
And you just got flandered.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper, and it's time for TSS Fantasy.
And you just got flandered.
That's what it is.
Oh.
Yeah. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper, and it's time for TSS Fantasy.
Friday night, yeah!
The Jester's in the house, brought his sack and everything. It must be Friday night. Let's get the introduction started because we got a busy TJIF episode ahead of us today. Welcome, Justin Jesus Herrera.
I don't think anybody's had more invested interest than Commissioner Cooper over here in Fred's sack. Not even Manscaped's got that much invested in it. But yes, hello everybody, TSS Fantasy. If you're watching us right now, hit that notifications bell, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button because you want to have some invested interest in Fred's sack as well. When you hit that subscribe button, you're invested. Yeah, look at that. Look at that wall right there. I got mine coming in the mail. But anyways, guys, while you're out there, go check out our rankings. They're all up to date right now. Playoffs are around the corners. These are must-win games. You want to get seeded. You want to get in. You need to go on to tssfantasy.com right now. Check it out. Buy, shop, whatever you're going to do with it. Look around and see who you think is more trusted and get back to us on who wins you this week.
Yeah, the one that's most trusted indeed. Let's talking about the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Truth Serum Football is here for us. Judge Jordan is here. Welcome, my friend, into the studio on a Friday night. Appreciate you being here.
Pleasure as always. Excited to finally get to throw down with the Jester himself, and just want to say, ready to defend my title once again. Fantasy Feud champ. I'm gonna keep it coming tonight.
Yeah, you're like basically, you're setting up as the stable here. You have the tag team title, along with the separate title itself. So you are the man at Fantasy Feud.
Whatever I got to do to keep getting to come on the show, man. I'm going to keep winning, keep throwing them at me.
Let's see what DJ brings tonight. Let's also welcome into the studio Fred the Jester Reyes. Welcome into the studio.
I am here. It is Friday night. Follow me at TSS Jester. It's going to be an exciting show. Addition by subtraction. You added me and subtracted Flanders. So it's going to be a full energy type of show tonight. Let's go.
Let's go. Colts Martin's in the building as well. What's up to you, my friend? We are ready and excited. I talked about the Jester sack. Let's take a look at it.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the happiest season of all.
Nobody does the holidays like TSS Fantasy. Indeed. Look, we got it all set up for you. We got a signed Chris Johnson jersey, a signed Andre Reed jersey, a signed Damian Harris jersey, a signed Jameis Williamson jersey, a signed Jerry Jeudy signed Jerry Jeudy helmet, my bad. We got it all for you. It's in the Jester Sack. All you got to do, hit the subscribe button. It's not that hard. It is just that easy. Justin, why do we do all these crazy things?
Well, it's easy, Coop. It's because we love the people. You know why we love the people? Because we're the fantasy show of the people.
People.
The fantasy show, the people indeed. And speaking of fantasy, we got a little news to talk about. Let's get it. Buffalo game now moved to Detroit. That makes things very different indeed for this matchup. Although I've heard the Bills are having issues traveling at the moment. So again, all kinds of situations coming up in this matchup. I do find it interesting. It's moving indoors, though. That means it's a little bit of fast track. Obviously, I was worried. I have Tyler Bass in a league, and I was like, I got to find another kicker, but maybe now hold off on that. So a lot of things to basically think about as we move forward. I wish they wouldn't really move the game, though, because I heard it's not going to even be snowing, maybe a little bit of light snow for the game itself. So I think really traveling is more of the issue and safety and all that. So
They're
yes,
playing
sir.
Cleveland, right?
What's that?
They're playing Cleveland. Yeah, they're playing
Which,
Cleveland.
which they just gave Cleveland home field advantage because it's 2 hours from Detroit. So it's like,
Does it really matter though?
You
Like,
got gypped by
home
the
field
that's
advantage
right.
or not? Does it-
Buffalo Bills got gypped on that one, man.
Buffalo Bills coming
we-
off of a loss are about to absolutely kick Cleveland's ass all over the place as long as that game is held. I don't care where it's at.
Yeah, I'll have to say I think the snow might have at least equaled it out a little for the Browns. At least made it more, their style. They could run the football a little bit more. Now we get on this fast track. I don't think there's any hope for Jacoby Brissett. That's for sure. All right, just some other quick things. We're going to talk about this stuff Sunday, so I don't want to bore everyone with it. But McCall Hardman, he's on the IR. Kadarius Toney could be big because Juju may not play as well, so just something to think about with your rosters. Zeke looked like he's trending to play, so it looks like more than likely he will. Mark Andrews is still questionable. David Njoku is still questionable. DeAndre Hopkins popped up on the questionable list, so you might want to just take a look at that as well. Mike Williams and Keenan Allen look like they might be trending to play, which brings Joshua Palmer's value down a little bit for this week. So just some things we'll talk about more on Sunday. Make sure you wake up with us, TSS, on Sunday morning. We're going to bring our injury expert in, get all the latest on the injuries. All right, well, let's do it. It's Friday night. Let's get to the break now. Oh yeah, it's Friday night. Fred's in the house. No,
You
he
know, I like
likes
to dance that breakdown.
yes,
Break
sir.
it down.
He likes to break it down. Indeed. Let's go to Jordan. We'll go to you first. Let's talk about the Bears at the Falcons. Right now, the Bears, they are 16th against fantasy QBs, 27th against running backs, 11th versus receivers, and 5th versus tight ends. Falcons on the other side, 24th versus quarterbacks, 20th versus the running back. They are dead last against receivers, and 25th versus the tight end. What say you guys you like and don't like in this matchup?
I mean, for the Chicago Bears, it all starts with Justin Fields. Dude's been on a tear, has more rushing touchdowns than McCaffrey, more rushing yards than Cook, same amount of passing touchdowns as Tom Brady. Super juicy matchup for him. I think we actually see his best passing game of the season in addition to what he does with the legs. Then you have Cole Kmet. He's the highest scoring fantasy tight end over the last 3 weeks. 5 touchdowns in the last 3 games, only had 3 touchdowns in his first 40 games. I think he is an absolute smash start. And then without Khalil Herbert and him being on the IR, it's full money. David Montgomery has RB1 overall upside this week. On the other side of the ball with Atlanta, Marcus Mariota just sucks. I have no faith in starting Pitts or London or any pass catchers in that offense. I really am just ready for this team to lose enough games to give up on the Mariota experiment, and let's see what Desmond Ridder has. But I will say the Bears' run defense is pretty weak, so I'm dialing up every share of Cordarrelle Patterson that I do have.
I like that too. So Clam Easy, since you're the guest in the house, he wants to know, pick one: Kadarius Toney, DJ Moore, or Curtis Samuel this week. Who do you like in that one, Jordan?
I'm going with Kadarius Toney. Might be a little bit of a controversial pick here, but I mean, DJ Moore has Baker Mayfield throwing him the ball again. Curtis Samuel isn't getting any love from Taylor Heineke. It's the Terry McLaurin show. Man, Kansas City has all these injuries. Give me Toney all day.
Yeah, he's going to look like the one-man crew, it almost seems like, with KC, so I like that a lot. All right, let's go on to Justin for this next one. The Eagles at the Colts. The Eagles against fantasy QBs, they are number 2. Against running backs, they are 8th. Against receivers, 9th. And against tight ends, 10th, believe it or not. Colts are 11th versus fantasy QBs, 22nd against running backs, 1st against receivers, and 23rd against tight ends. What say you guys? You like and don't like?
On the Eagles side, I like Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Devonta Smith if he plays. I'm not liking the running backs this week. Indy's defense is pretty good. And when you really look at it, Hurts has been taking away all the goal line carries. It's not even close. He's got 13 attempts. Miles Sanders has 5 inside the 5-yard line. He has taken away all of the money right there. So Jalen Hurts is your running back and your quarterback in that offense. On the flip side, Matt Ryan's going up against a brick wall here. The Eagles have not allowed a QB1 performance in the last 5 outings. It has been brutal. Even Taylor Heineke, who had a good week last week, was not even top 20. It was brutal. JT, like him, because last week we saw Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson run amok on that Eagles defense, kind of showing their weak spot is maybe their run defense. JT coming off the best game of his year, clearly, and looking more like the JT of old. Pittman, interesting one. Going up against Darius Slay. He might get stopped this week, but I think this would open up a better week for Alec Pierce or Paris Campbell. So the Eagles have been very inconsistent against slot receivers. They've had okay games and they've had bad games. They've let Curtis Samuel go off on them. Christian Kirk had a couple of big catches against them. This just seems like the weak spot in that secondary is the slot receiver or the slot corner, whatever it is, nickel corner, linebacker, whatever they're going to put on them. It seems like the weak spot for him. So for me, I'm looking at that as, take advantage of the fact Paris Campbell has had 20-point games with Matt Ryan. He's been rolling pretty hard with him. And I think that he's probably the play there. And I think Alec Pierce maybe not getting the Darius Slay matchup could be a viable low-end flex as well this week.
All right. Sounds good to me. Shout out to Bill. Wants to give us a what up TSS. He thinks the Colts are going to shine under Saturday. So we shall see. Our next guest would like that a lot, actually. Let's go on to this last matchup before we head on to the big feud matchup. Jets at the Patriots. Oh, I can't wait for this, Fred. Jets against fantasy quarterbacks are 12th, against running backs 11th, 6th versus receiver, 16th versus tight end. Patriots 19th versus quarterbacks, 2nd versus running backs, 4th versus receiver, 27th versus tight ends. Give me guys you'd like and don't like.
This is going to be really tough, man. Smash mouth defensive football game. I like the defenses on both sides. Listen, on the side of the Patriots, I'm going to still go with Ramondre Stevenson. I think he's going to run the ball really hard. I think Mac Jones and all the receivers, I think our secondary will stop them. But I think Ramondre Stevenson, he did have a good game against us the first time at home at Jet Stadium. So I think he's still going to have a good game. And I'm a Jets fan. It's going to be really tough again to get anything going on. Conklin did all right the first game. I do like Garrett Wilson. He's been breaking out pretty much lately, and I think he's coming into his own. So any little yards that we do get in the air will be because of Garrett Wilson. So go with Garrett Wilson, Conklin, Ramondre Stevenson, and both defense, because this is going to be an old school smash mouth football game.
You know what this is going to be? An old school smash mouth ass whooping is what it's going to be. Y'all get owned by the Patriots.
That's what he's
All right.
hoping for.
Hater.
We got the brain in to take on the champ. I can't wait. Let's get it on. It's time for some feud.
Brad?
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson. It's going to be a long game.
Let's welcome in the challenger, DJ. Welcome into the studio, my friend.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be back. It's always a pleasure to be amongst my favorite fantasy people.
We are happy to have you, my friend. Actually, Nick, the Flanders want to give a shout out. He said, "Great analysis, gentlemen." So thanks for that, Nick. And a let's go from Patriot Sports Radio. So, Nick, we miss you in the studio. We appreciate you. Patriot Sports Radio, we appreciate you as well. Jets will serve up some patriotism to the Patriots, says Bill. All right, let's get this game on. I'm excited. It's round one. We're going to go right to the quarterback position. You know, I love to talk about the red zone. That's right where we're going to start. Last week, I'm looking for, there's 5 top answers on the board. Here is your question. What quarterbacks had the most yards in the red zone last week?
Gotta be Tua. It's America's team.
Tua, number one, or excuse me, I'm sorry. Yeah, number one in your hearts. He's number 3 on this list with 33. Good job, my friend. You control. What else you got?
It's always a safe bet to start with one of the Dolphins and then work your way back. So I've got this game down to a science now. So let's see. So he was number 2, you said, on the list?
He was 3, sorry.
3? Okay. Well, Patrick threw 4 touchdowns last week, if I'm not mistaken. So I think it's safe to say he's on the list somewhere.
Patty Mahomes. Numero uno with 47 yards in the red zone last week. Mr. Patrick. All right, what else you got?
All right. Well, Justin Fields had almost 200 yards rushing, but 3 passing touchdowns. So that means he didn't throw from deep. So I'm going to go with Justin Fields for red zone.
Justin Fields. No bueno on that one.
All right. Science did not work there. So let's try Dak Prescott, because they got in the red zone a lot, because even though he kept throwing picks when they got there.
I'm sorry, I got distracted by Nick. Dak Prescott. No bueno. You got number 1 and number 3, and we're looking again for what quarterbacks had the most yards in the red zone last week.
Ooh, I'm falling apart on us now. Derek Carr?
Derek Carr. Derek Carr is tied here with someone else, but they list him as number 4 on this list with 27 yards. So you got number 1, Pat Mahomes, number 3, Tua, number 4, Derek Carr. You're missing number 2 and 5.
How about Kirk Cousins? Kirk Cousins, he had to have gotten something.
You like that? You're liking that one. You got number 5. That's who Derek Carr was tied with 27 yards. You are missing at number 2 on this list.
Let's go with Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, hell no!
Jordan, the champ, do you have it to steal?
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. It was not Jalen Hurts. You won't believe who it was. Trevor Lawrence. He was number 2 on this list with 37 yards in the red zone. Not much production, I will have to say. Bill, good guess with Mariota, but you were also incorrect. All right, well, good job, DJ. Take round 1. Let's go to round 2. We're going to go to the running back position, and it's hard to find like a stat that could really get into 5, but I found one that works with 5. All right, top 5 answers on the board last week in the red zone. I'm looking for attempts. Give me which running back had the most attempts in the red zone last week.
Ooh. Let's go with Devin Singletary.
Devin Singletary. That is correct. He was number 2 on this list with 5 attempts in the red zone. All right. Who else you got, DJ?
Let's see. The Falcons could not move the ball, so the Panthers got it. Let's go with Deontay Foreman.
Deontay Foreman. He's number 3 on this list, but tied with Singletary. Both had 5 red zone attempts last week. All right, who else you got?
There's got to be a Dolphin in here somewhere, so let's roll with Jeff Wilson.
Jeff Wilson from America's team. He's number 4 on this list with 3. So you got 2, 3, and 4. You're missing number 1 and number 5.
All right. Let's try Jonathan Taylor, I guess. He looked pretty nice.
Big John? Not on that one.
Break for 70 yards away, but all right. What about James Conner?
James Conner. What about him? He was number 1 on that list. He had 7 red zone attempts last week, so becoming a big goal line back. All you're missing now is number 5.
I didn't actually think James Conner was on that list. I did. That was my big red button. So I'm kind of out of ideas now. How about Saquon Barkley? That seems like a safe guess.
Saquon Barkley. Negative on that one. All right, still in there. You got 1 strike left. You're missing 1 guy. He's tied actually with Jeff Wilson Jr. with 3 attempts.
Well, this person in the comments is saying Brian Robinson. So I'm putting my faith in you, Albert. How about Brian Robinson?
Brian Robinson. Albert got
we had a good thing going, Albert. It's over now, though.
Got it. I love it. I feel sorry for the people driving around near me. I love it. Driving on with his favorite fantasy crew. Love it, Bill. We do appreciate you. All right. So, yeah, this is it. Jordan, can you get this thing tied up or what? Aaron
Jones?
Aaron Money, the Hammer. We'll call him the Hammer Jones. Steals round 2 away from DJ. We are all tied up. He was number 5 with 3, also tied with Jeff Wilson. All right, let's get to the receivers. Number 3 question. We got top 5 answers on the board. Here's the question. I'm going back to yards. Give me the receivers with the most receiving yards in the red zone last week.
Christian Watson.
Christian Watson.
Well, you know what? Let's go with Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson, money when it matters. He was number 3 on this list with 19 yards. All right, who else you got?
Well, Trevor Lawrence was a surprise pick earlier, so let's go with Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk. Logic is sound. Christian Kirk, number 1 on the list, 29 yards in the red zone last week. So you got 1 and 3 on the list.
Well, someone has Jalen Waddle on their fantasy team. I know some Dolphins are getting some burn in the red zone, but it wasn't him, and it wasn't as much Tyreek. So let's try is it Sheffield or Sherfield? Whoever that third guy is, I don't know his name. He's the guy that steals all Jalen Waddle's points from me.
Sherfield. Indeed, I even had to did I say his name right when I was yelling it out? Sherfield. He is number 5 on this list with 14 yards in the red zone. So you're missing number 2 and number 4 on the list.
I'm too petty to forget when someone takes fantasy points from me. Let's go with DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf. I can't even freaking speak. Did you have one strike or already or no? I think did I do that right? All right, I think
I can't remember.
Okay, all right, go ahead. Who else you got?
Let's see. Patty was up there. Juju got hurt. Travis Kelce. That's a tight end. Never mind. That doesn't even count.
Oh yeah, that's true. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm not brain block. Valdez Scantling then, if Travis Kelce doesn't count.
Valdez Scantling. He's number 4 with 18. So you're just missing number 2 on the list.
Shoot. How about CeeDee Lamb?
CeeDee Lamb. One strike left. Number 2 is sitting pretty.
I'm trying to think of his name. It's the other receiver on the Seahawks. It's not Lockett, but it's the guy who also runs stupidly fast that challenged Tyreek Hill to a race a few years ago. It was Goodwin. I think it's Goodwin. I'm going to try Goodwin.
Marquise Goodwin. Closes out the round with Goodwin at number 2 with 19. He was tied with Justin Jefferson with 19 yards.
Man, it's a match.
I told you, this is it right here, boy. It's 2-1 right now. Boy, Jordan sweating that title. Here we go. We're going into round 4. Let's go to tight ends. All right. So we're going to take out Kelce and Dalton Schultz on this list. I feel like they were kind of layups. But there were 6 tight ends last week that had touchdowns. Name them.
Harrison Bryant was definitely one of them because he took Nick Chubb's fantasy points from me too.
Harrison Bryant. He is on the list.
I'm way too petty to forget some of those easy ones, which brings me to the next one who took Chris Olave's points from me, the Johnson kid from the Saints.
Jawan Johnson. All right, who else you got?
Cole Kmet has 5 touchdowns in 2 weeks, so he's got to be one of them. But that feels like a safe one.
I probably should have took him out. He's a layup too. Cole Kmet. All right, you got 3 tight ends left on this list.
Cool. And no Fabian Moreau got one against the Colts because that's exactly what the Colts would do is give up. Or Moreau, thank you, Albert. Foster Moreau, whatever his name is, the Moreau kid for the Raiders that somehow scored on the Colts because they're trying.
Moreau, whatever. 2 tight ends on this list left. Can you name them?
And we took off Kelce. Did Robert Tonyan get in the end zone?
Robert Tonyan.
I should have known better than that one. How about Cameron Brate?
Cameron Brate. I had to look down and make sure he wasn't on there. All right. You got 1 strike left with 2 answers still out there.
I think that other tight end, I can't remember what his name is. The other tight end for Kansas City. It's not Blake Bell. I think is it Noah? Is that who it is? I think his first or last name's Noah. Is that other tight end for the Chiefs? Because he also was stealing fantasy points too.
All right, so we'll give it to him. Noah Gray. All right. Now we're down to the final one. Can you close it out? Can you 1, 2, 3 Jordan here and close it out with the final tight end?
Not Mike. All right, Albert, I'm going to trust you one more time. We'll try Dallas Goddard.
Dallas Goddard.
Stop it. Get some help.
All right, Jordan, can you get out of this submission hold and make it to another round? Do you have the final tight end?
Jordan Akins.
Jordan Akins. No! It was Brock Wright was your other tight end last week. I should have wrote down who he plays for because I have no idea. I just went down the list and just wrote it down.
My one hope there was Gray. I had that one tucked away, and as soon as you said it, I knew it was over.
Well, listen, that was a great match. I mean, listen, no one's went toe-to-toe with Jordan yet quite like this, but congratulations. DJ, you're tonight's winner. Jordan, my friend, for the first time, you are tonight's loser.
Dumbass. Thank these. They call me dumbass. Black cotton stupid.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Congratulations, DJ, my friend. I know you got to head out, so let everyone know where they can follow, subscribe, and get all of your great content, my friend.
Once again, thank you all so much for having me on. What great game, Jordan. I was sweating the entire time as well, too. And if it wasn't for my team letting me down and me being petty, I was getting smoked. But luckily, my own team lets me down and spikes the ultimate pettiness in me when other people steal touchdowns. But you can find me and my co-host Kelsey at the High Low Sports Podcast. You can find us on all major social networks. We do go live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And you can find us on all your favorite Apple, Spotify, all your favorite podcasting the next day as well, too. And you know what? Every other week on here, usually I like to pop in as well, too. So.
Absolutely. Make sure you go follow, subscribe. Him and Kelsey got a great show, a lot of great content in there as well. So we definitely got to set up a rematch. I think that's well due. Maybe
I'm not letting him get me back. I'm retiring out on top. I can't let him get redemption.
Hey DJ, all I ask is holler at Kelsey and you guys run it back and try to take out me and my tag team partner.
Oh, that's right. We got a tag team. That's right. We got those tag team.
With him on my side,
titles.
I can't lose.
I like that.
All right, I'll run it by him. I'll see if we can get.
All right, I think that's a good. I like what we're getting going here. All right, let's head on out. Speaking of flexing our muscles, let's get Bandy's flex start of the week. Appreciate you, DJ.
Thank you.
I've been working out.
That's right, it is that time again. Time for Bandy's Flex Starts of the Week. Let's do it. Starting off, I've got Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton over on the Giants, starting to be consistent, starting to be somebody you can trust. This week, going against Detroit. You know you can trust him there.
Trust in me.
Moving on to the next guy, I've got Jaylen Warren. Another guy that has been leaning on that consistent side. Jaylen Warren seems to be sharing the backfield with Najee Harris, and most days doing a better job at it.
What you talking about, Willis?
Moving on to the next guy, I've got Allen Robinson. I know. You think Allen Robinson, you think scary thoughts. But hey, Cooper Kupp is down. They got Van Jefferson, they got Skoranek, and they got Allen Robinson. It's your time to shine. Throw him in the flex spot this week. And guys, don't forget to check out 4th and Flex Fantasy Football Podcast right here on YouTube.
Yeah, all right. I am Hans. And I am Franz, and we just want to pop you off.
The flex starts of the week. Make sure you go check Bandy and Trey out. Great show in there. Bill loving the segment earlier. He forgot he was even driving. Appreciate that. He said, man, we need Google, apparently. He said, don't worry, Jordan. Even number 23 took a few hours to the Pistons before he got to the top. So, and Patriot Sports Radio, I think they were let's go into the flex. All right, let's get back to the breakdown. Jordan, let's go Commanders at Texans. Commanders, they're 21st against quarterbacks, 6th versus running backs, 21st against receivers, 3rd versus tight ends. The Texans are 5th versus quarterbacks, dead last in the league against running backs. They are 3rd against receivers, 18th versus tight ends. What say you guys you like and don't like?
Guys I like on Houston is pretty short and sweet. I like Dameon Pierce as a starter, has averaged almost 23 touches a game, 112 yards and 17.5 fantasy points. He's facing the Commanders, middle of the pack run defense. I think it'll be business as usual for him. In a pinch, I would go with Nico. But other than that, I'm pretty much fading all my Texans. On the Commander side, Terry McLaurin has absolutely been tearing it up with Taylor Heineke. In 6 games with Wentz, he had 37 targets, 16% target share. In 4 games with Heineke, he has 36 targets, which is a 32% target share. Just tore Darius Slayton's ass up all week last week, 5 of 7 for 90 yards. And then Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson, I think they're both startable pieces. I really like the 26 carries specifically for Brian Robinson. Only got 86 yards out of him, did get in the end zone, but if they keep giving him that kind of a volume, he's going to be a must-week start for me.
Yeah, especially against this sorry Texans run defense for sure. All right, let's go to Justin. Rams versus Saints. Put it up here. It was a perfect timing. Allen Robinson is a beast, Bill says. So here it is. What say you, Justin? Rams are 8th versus quarterbacks, 8th versus running backs, 22nd against receivers. They are number 2 against tight ends. Saints are 18th versus quarterbacks, 12th versus running back, 16th versus receiver, number 1 against tight ends. What say you?
Sorry, Bill. Allen Robinson is a slouch. I am not putting him in my roster right now. I'm leaving him wherever he lays right now, whether it be on the waiver wire, whether it be on the bottom of my bench. Guys, I am putting in Tyler Higbee. Last week, 8 of 8, 73 yards. He's just money, man. And he's going to be the guy who's going to get targeted a lot in this offense. Another long shot would be either Van Jefferson or Ben Skowronek. I've talked about it. I feel like Skowronek fills the cup role a little bit better, but Jefferson has the deep ball role. You know, how many times did we see Calvin Johnson and Matthew Stafford hook up deep? Could easily be Van Jefferson this week. Saints defense has been very lackluster. That being said, I'm not playing Matthew Stafford, though. Andy Dalton, well, he's only had 1 QB1 finish with Cooper Kupp. So Andy Dalton, also 1 QB1 finish. So I'm not playing him. Kamara, 17 rushes in the last 2 games. You have to play him, but he is kind of like a little bit risky now. Like, you're like, what's going on there? Why isn't he getting the touches? Then they signed the big old David Johnson. He's back in town. So I don't know what the hell is going on over there in New Orleans. I think they're just trying to get Dennis Allen fired. And then you got Chris Olave, who's getting 2 less points on average with Andy Dalton over Jameis Winston. Why isn't Jameis playing? I mean, let's have some fun here at least, you know. And then finally, Juwan Johnson, not a bad play. Always kind of like an option for a touchdown. And it seems to be Andy Dalton loves this guy.
Yep.
There's one guy who's an Andy Dalton guy, it's Juwan Johnson. So, you know, if you're in a pinch at tight end, not a bad play right there.
Yeah, he's been hot as of late, that's for sure. All right, let's go to Fred on this one. Again, move to now Detroit, more than likely the Browns at the Bills. Makes this game a lot different. Browns against fantasy quarterbacks are 14th, 31st against the run. They are 17th against receivers, 4th against tight ends. Bills, 4th against quarterbacks, 16th versus running backs, 14th versus receiver, and 9th versus tight end. What say you guys you like and don't like in that matchup?
Well, just the statistics alone, you want to start. Of course, you're going to start Nick Chubb. Obviously, he's the best person on the team, possibly the best running back in the league. And it only helps him now that he's not running in snow. He's running in a dome. So definite start right there. Other than that, I really don't like too much about the Browns. I think the Bills like I'm sorry.
What?
Jeremy, right?
Jordan.
Jordan.
Sorry, Jordan. Just like you said earlier, the Bills might come out now since they're in the dome really pissed off. You just lost a couple of games, a really good game to the Vikings. Josh Allen still played at a high level. Yeah, he threw a couple of touchdowns, but he's not perfect. And now, I mean, you got Diggs able to run again. The whole complexity of the game changed from Tuesday and Wednesday. So I say start anything on the Bills, any receiver, any running back, quarterback, defense. And on the Brown side, stick with Nick Chubb. That's the only way I can see possibly the Browns winning this game now that they moved it.
Fred's all about the Bills in this particular matchup. Yeah, Nick Chubb, definite start. Indeed. And like I said, I thought Singletary would be a smash start because the Browns aren't really good against the run anyway in the snow, but I'd still say he's still a good play regardless because, again, Browns don't really stack up against the run. All right, Jordan, let's go back to you. Panthers at the Ravens. Panthers are 17th against QBs. They're 26th versus running backs, 25th versus receiver, 12th versus tight end. Ravens 22nd against quarterbacks, 15th against running backs, 27th against receiver, and 17th versus tight end. Give me some guys you like and don't like.
So I'm going to give some really groundbreaking analysis here. Start Lamar Jackson. Make sure you do that. Outside of that, the Panthers are pretty rough against the pass. So whether it's Mark Andrews, whether it's Isaiah Likely, I'm probably starting Andrews if he plays. I'm starting Likely probably either way. And I love me some double Ds. Give me Devin Duvernay in the smash start there. On the other side, we got Baker Mayfield back in the mix. I think we all know that guy just sucks at his job. DJ Moore has been the wide receiver 11 over the past 4 weeks, and that's nice. And I think you have to start him, but I'm not starting him with any kind of confidence this week.
Yeah, I kind of feel you there. Like, I have him in another league where I'm like, do I put him in or do I, I've been up in the air, but their secondary has been such a juicy matchup for receivers. I just kind of feel like, you know what, I have a little bit of confidence Baker can hit him a couple times. All right, Fred, Justin, let's go to you. Lions at the Giants. Lions against QBs, they're dead last. Against running backs, they're 21st. Against receivers, they're 26th. Against tight ends, they're 30th. I don't even know if I should even mention it. Giants, on the other hand, they're 13th against quarterbacks. They're 4th versus running back, 5th versus receiver, and 21st versus tight ends. Any guys you like and don't like?
Little lopsided there.
I think the last person to say I have confidence in you throwing the ball, Baker Mayfield, was probably his mom. So to get to this game's going to be kind of a rough game to watch. I think it's going to be one of those gritty games where you're like, oh, yeah, football, like old style football. But at the end of the day, it's going to be Saquon Barkley, Amon-Ra St. Brown, maybe sprinkle in a little Darius Slayton. Everybody's like Jamal Williams, DeAndre Swift. I got no part of that split. Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift have been separated by like 2-3 points in the past 2 outings. And guess what? DeAndre Swift gets a microcosm of what, Jamal Williams has been getting. So Jamal Williams has not been using what he has been getting as far as snap share properly. Until that changes, I am going to say no to both of those. And I think that, the Giants defense is more than capable of handling that offensive line and those 2 running backs. So like I said, no Goff, no no running backs for me. Barkley, Amon-Ra, and just sprinkle in a little bit of Slayton. Just throw it over the top to Slayton. And that's just about it for me.
Little dab. Bill said the Bills have to dominate the rest of the year. AFC is scary. Bills ain't doing shit. All right, let's just say that. All right, let's go on to the next matchup. The Raiders at the Broncos, Fred. Raiders are 31st against quarterbacks. They are 29th against running backs. They are 19th versus receivers, and they are 28th versus tight ends. The Broncos, they are numero uno against fantasy quarterbacks, 13th versus running backs. They're second versus receivers and 19th versus tight ends. What say you guys you like and don't like?
Man, on paper, this sounds like a really good game, but it's really shitty, isn't it? Uh, listen, so I'm on the Broncos, and I'm gonna start Russell Wilson this time. I think this week that he's actually gonna play pretty good. They're not out of contention yet. This win would help them out, so I would definitely start Russell Wilson. The Raiders, I still got to start Devontae Adams and of course the normal characters, Carr. They're just bad. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why they've won no more than 2 games. I just can't put my finger on it. Like it's just bad. So yes, the usual suspects. We're gonna start Carr. We're gonna start Devontae Adams. Is this guy playing again? Josh Jacobs.
Yep.
I'm gonna start Josh Jacobs. I don't know why after the last couple of weeks, but I'm gonna start him too. And honestly, I think the Raiders after this game, I think they're gonna take this L, and I think they're gonna start looking towards the draft. So that's where I'm going with this. That's bad.
Cortland Sutton's a good start with Jerry Jeudy, possibly KJ Hamler not playing as well. So I like Cortland Sutton because you know what? It's all about targets. I mean, he's gonna see targets for sure. All right, let's get to well, actually, you know what? Let's take a quick little break and talk about our homer picks. You know who I'm going to start with, Fred. What say you? What's your homer don't pick this week?
Yes, that with me.
Oh,
Come
yeah.
on, start with somebody else, man.
No, I want to start right with you.
Am I going with team or player? Go ahead. What you want?
Good. So give me, on your Jets. Give me somebody who's going
to. It's gonna be Garrett Wilson. It has to be. I mean, this guy. The Patriots are not. He has to do it. He's been playing really well lately. I'm super excited. And then I don't. Let me tell you something. Elijah Moore just got another chance by Robert Saleh because he's gonna put him in the slot. Now, if you cannot produce from the slot with Zach Wilson, now you may be in trouble, Elijah Moore. So I'm going all in on Garrett Wilson. Let's go. 100 yards, touchdown. That's how we're going to win the Patriots. Let's go.
I feel like Bill's, he's so good at stopping what you do well, and he's the only thing you've had done well. So I just don't see it. Anyway, just thought I'd share. All right, Jordan, what say you? Who's your homer pick of the week?
Hey, I just want to holler at Jester, man. Nobody is hoping more than I am that Elijah Moore figures his shit out in the slot for the Jets because I love that guy and I just cannot quit him. For me, on the Dallas Cowboys side, even though I renounced my fandom earlier this week, give me Dalton Schultz. He's been tearing it up. Had played a season high played 76% of snaps last week with a season high 9 targets, 16 over the last 2 games. Should absolutely eat against Minnesota.
I like that. Justin, who's your homer pick of the week?
Elijah Mitchell coming in this week. It's going to be a nice game on the ground. Everybody's like, oh, what's this Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell split? Guess what, kids? Kyle Shanahan, he isn't playing fantasy football. He wants to make a Super Bowl run, and that's what he's doing right there. He's getting his weapons locked and loaded and greased. He's greasing those gears, and he's getting Elijah Mitchell ready to go. Elijah Mitchell is better than Jeff Wilson. That's why he's on Miami's 49ers. I look at Elijah Mitchell getting 88 yards in his return, and I go, give me more. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
We got them all fired up, apparently. All right, let's get back to the breakdown. Jordan, the game of the day, certainly your game of the day, Cowboys versus the Vikings. Cowboys against fantasy QBs are 7th. Running backs, they're 5th. Receivers, 18th. 6th versus tight ends. Vikings are 25th versus quarterbacks. 7th versus running backs. 30th versus receiver. 24th versus tight ends. What say you guys you like and don't like?
This is a heart divided here because I've always kind of loved the Minnesota Vikings and the Cowboys, but I got to go with the Cowboys here. But either way, I'm dialing up everybody. I don't care how good Dallas's defenses looked. They just got roasted by Christian Watson. I can't imagine what Justin Jefferson's about to do to him. They can't stop the run to save their lives. Dalvin Cook's going to eat all damn day. The one guy I'm a little nervous about playing for the Vikings is TJ Hawkinson. He has averaged 9.5 targets since coming to Minnesota, but Dallas does a really good job of limiting the points at the tight end position. On the other side of the ball, CeeDee Lamb's in the zone, even though he's making Dak Prescott throw some interceptions apparently. But I'm starting Dak. I'm starting CeeDee. I actually think Dallas wins this game, and I think it's going to be on the back of those two guys. I also am dialing up Tony Pollard and Dalton Schultz this week. Don't really care if Zeke plays or not. I have 0 shares, and even if I did, I would not be playing him at this stage in the season.
All righty. Here, the truth hurts indeed. All right, let's get to Justin on this next one. Bengals at the Steelers. Bengals 3rd versus fantasy QBs, 9th versus running backs, 7th versus receivers, 13th versus tight ends. Steelers 27th versus QBs, 10th versus running backs, 31st versus receiver, and 11th versus tight end. What say you guys you like and don't like this week?
So on the Bengals side, I couldn't find anybody I really disliked. Burrow had an amazing matchup against them in the first week. Same with Mixon. Higgins didn't have a great one, but that was because Chase got a lot of the targets in that one. Even Hayden Hurst, I think, the Steelers defense, they got some pass rush back, but it doesn't really help that they're busted secondary without Minka Fitzpatrick. So I'm going to go with, play all your Bengals in this game. On the Steelers side, only really Steelers I like are Freiermuth, Pickens, and maybe give me a little bit of Deontay Johnson, just because he showed a little bit of life last week. But outside of that, I don't want to figure out the run game, even though Jaylen Warren was my waiver claim of the week. He's a solid flex, like Bandy said. But outside of that, I don't want to put him in as my RB2. That scares the living shit out of me. And it scares me even worse than Najee Harris was drafted as an RB1. So yeah, I'm out on that running game. And give me Pickens and Johnson and Freiermuth, and I'll be okay on the Steelers side.
Moke, thank you for asking the question. Do you think Kupp is coming back this season? Certainly not for fantasy purposes. That's for certain. So yeah, I don't think he's coming back this year, quite frankly. All right, let's go to Fred for this next one. Chiefs at Chargers. Chiefs 28th against fantasy QBs, 25th versus running back, 28th versus a receiver, and 22nd versus the tight end. Chargers 10th versus QBs, 30th versus running backs, 12th versus receiver. They're 14th versus tight ends. What say you, Fred? Guys you like and don't like?
I'm going to say the same thing, the exact opposite I said about the New England and the Jets game. Start everybody. This is a fantasy bonanza here. You got to start everybody on the Chiefs. I mean, just start everybody. It's Patrick Mahomes. There's nothing not to stop. He shares the ball with everybody, and he just threw it 60-something times the other game. And then on the Chargers side, start everybody because the defense of the Chiefs is not that good, and they really need to win this game because right now they're on the outside looking in. So definitely want to start the Chargers. Now the Chargers might be in trouble because I don't know if their wide receiver is playing yet. Keenan Allen is still not sure to play yet. He's a game time decision, I believe we talked about earlier. But I mean, if he does play, start whoever you can offensively on either team. I think it's gonna be many fantasy points.
Yeah, I think the only question really on the Charger side is where like Josh Palmer lies, because it depends on if Keenan Allen runs or if not, because it looks like Mike Williams looks like definite may be going, seems like. So the question is Keenan Allen go? Because if he doesn't, Josh Palmer is a great start for you. Mm-hmm. If not, he's a very low-end flex as far as I'm concerned. So Bill wanted to shout out the Vikings real quick. They don't get the proper attention from the media. Anyone else, they just beat the Bills, quite frankly. I agree. There's not a big out. They should really be the number one team really right now in the league, playing really hot and get the disrespect of being the underdog in the Cowboys matchup. Crazy enough. All right,
I would like to comment to that real
sure,
quick.
go ahead.
I think the Vikings are the real deal. I think they're great. I think Dallas is just as good as Minnesota. I think the reason that these guys are favored is, I mean, just look at the history of Dallas and Green Bay. Dallas absolutely sucks against Green Bay every time. I think they'll have a much better performance this week, personally.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing they were saying, I mean, from the analytics side, it was just that they were struggling, with the wins that they have made. Very low end wins, even with teams that aren't very good. So that's why the Vikings seem to, be that team where people don't quite believe in them yet. But hey, if they keep winning, they know how to win. That's a big difference, All right, let's finish up our breakdown with the Monday Nighter 49ers at the Cardinals. 49ers 9th against QBs, number 1 against running backs, 15th against receivers, 8th versus tight ends. Cardinals are 26th versus quarterbacks, 19th versus running backs, 13th versus receivers. They're dead last against tight ends. What say you guys? You like and don't like?
So I'm going to say I don't like either of the quarterbacks in this game. It's for different reasons. It's because I don't know who's going to be the quarterback for the Cardinals right now. It's either Kyler Murray or it's Colt McCoy. It's probably going to lean towards Colt McCoy because, Cardinals aren't really playing for too much. And at the end of the day, you want to keep your franchise quarterback $260 million. You don't want to flush it down the toilet because Nick Bosa breaks his leg or something. I don't know. I'm just kidding. But anyways, for this game, I'm going to start DeAndre Hopkins and Rondale Moore. They both performed very well last week, even without Kyler Murray. Both got around 13, 14 targets. So you got to play them 100%. Trey McBride, like you said, tight ends. 49ers seem to eat up tight ends. I wouldn't start the rookie this week. On the 49ers side, start the running backs. Don't start Deebo Samuel. I know it's hard to do, but he's just not producing. You got to let him produce before you can even put him back in. George Kittle, I just think this is going to be more of a run game script for either team. And, I think the 49ers are going to do a little bit better. If Kyler Murray's in there, I know that you got to start him, but I still wouldn't. And then as far as Brandon Ayuk, he's a long shot flex. If it's a run game script, then it's just going to be terrible for all receivers, period.
So Moke had he said, because this guy sent me a trade with Cup, Lockett, JT, and Christian Watkins for Kenneth Walker, Devontae Adams, and Pollard. Since Cup isn't coming back, should I take this? That's so dirty. I don't know if this is Dynasty, though, so I guess that's the question. Honestly, I don't know if I'd do somebody dirty like I wouldn't do that somebody dirty like that because it sounds like they just left that in your inbox is what it sounds like. All right, let's get it. Listen, Jordan might just have gotten pinned, but it's still Friday Night SmackDown, right? Time for the ultimate DFS lineups. All right, it's too cold for me to put on a tank top tonight, so we're going to go right to it. Jordan, we'll start with you. You're the guest in the house. Give us your ultimate DFS lineup.
My ultimate DFS lineup, I started with the stack. Give me Joe Burrow, give me T. Higgins. Should make it rain all day against Pittsburgh. I paid up for my running backs. I went for Saquon Barkley, mandatory Montgomery. I really think Monty might be the number one overall running back this week. I think Skoranek is the cheat code at wide receiver, 3,900, dirt cheap. And I forget who said it, but it might have been Justin. He's the guy for the Cooper Cup role. I got Michael Gallup and Deontay Foreman, and then round out my list with Greg Dulcich, who is one of the must-start streaming tight ends for me right now.
I like ye. Moke, by the way, said he promised it was like 30 minutes ago, and it's a redraft. Like I said, it's bad juju, Moke. You don't want to do that because then, it comes back to you at some point. Plus, I think somebody might scream veto at some point. All right, Fred, let's say you, my friend, give us your ultimate DFS lineup. And you're on mute.
Well, this one I went. I used every single dollar. I went with the Mahomes Kelsey tag team because I just think they're gonna just explode against
That's
the
what
Chargers.
you always draft. In
Of
every
course.
draft, that's what you always look for.
Barkley has a great matchup this week against the Texans. I think the Cordero Patterson is going to do really well too. I like the way he's been coming back lately. I stick with Lazard because who else is there to throw to? I mean, it's Lazard and Watson. That's it. I mean, somebody's going to get the share. Hopkins, since he's come back, has been a monster. I am super happy we stashed him in a couple of leagues on the bench. Olave is looking like one of the offensive rookie of the year. So we're going to keep him. What else I got here? Oh, Montgomery. Once what's his name? Khalil Herbert went down. That was it. He took it all. He's number one. And the Giants D, you just talked about their stats up against the running backs, quarterbacks. Detroit might be in a big problem this week.
Yeah, Fred with the big money analysis. Listen, I'm going to say this, that you're not on Friday night, so I'm not going to take it too much to task. But I told you guys before, we're supposed to be giving these to people so they play them, maybe on Sunday, kind of help them out. Putting Alan fucking Lazard in, who played last night, is not helpful. All right, damn it. All right, Justin, what say you? Give us your ultimate DFS line.
I love it. So my ultimate DFS lineups, and can you see the mistake here? I just talked shit on DeAndre Swift, and I put him in my lineup. Whoa, yeah.
Oh, yeah, brother.
So, Justin Fields, how are you going to beat 6,500 for a fucking guy who's put up 40-plus points in the last 2 weeks and has another juicy matchup against Atlanta? I'm in on that all day long. Damian Pierce, also another $6,500, easy money against Washington. DeAndre Swift, not going to defend that one because I'm going to look like an asshat. Paris Campbell. You know what? Jordan, you said Ben Skowronek. I think you meant Paris Campbell is the biggest steal at 4,300 here because this is a guy who's been getting 20-plus point weeks in the past 3 weeks that he's had Matt Ryan as his quarterback. And guess what? Jeff Saturday is back to putting Matt Ryan back there. Love this Paris Campbell take right here. Love it even more for my DFS lineup. And then I'm going to take Jordan's boy CeeDee Lamb because I was very high on CeeDee Lamb this year. I think that it's going to be a must-win for this team. And, where you're going to go when you're in the must-win situation, you're going to go to your best weapon on the freaking offense, and that's CeeDee Lamb. And then Darius Slayton, like him as a big play guy. Sprinkle a little bit of Darius Slayton on your DFS lineup, and you're good to go. Mark Andrews, hope he plays. All indications are he's going to play. So Mark Andrews coming back strong. Once again, this is a Baltimore week coming off that bye. Need to get back into it. And Lamar to Andrews. Oh my God, that's almost as good as Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce. And then actually, I'm going to go with Kylen Granson, not Kyle Granson. Kylen Granson. Kylen Granson. Who? You should go introduce yourself.
I had to research. I don't even know who the hell that is.
Tight end for the Indianapolis Colts. So you spend all that money and you go and you find the tight end one for the Indianapolis Colts. Matt Ryan has been targeting him like crazy when he's on the field. The only thing he's missing is a touchdown this year. Go get you some Kylen Granson. He's going to get you paid. And then finally the Commanders against Houston. That's probably the best defense for a low budget you're going to get because Houston, that offense is just wow.
Yeah, it's definitely been struggling. No doubt about it. All right, let's go to my ultimate DFS lineup. And I'm just looking for a lot of, when I start to do these, I look for, values. Russell Wilson, I think, is a good value here because Las Vegas, again, they are 31st against fantasy QBs. I think he just eats. Obviously, I talked about that combo of him and Cortland Sutton basically being the only receiver there, so it's a nice combo spread this week. So if you're looking for DFS plays, I think it's a good one to go with. David Montgomery, I know Jordan alluded to it earlier, eating, and I also Fred alluded to earlier, eating with Khalil Herbert not there. So again, it's a good matchup for him. Atlanta 20th against fantasy running backs. Brian Robinson Jr., we've talked about this Houston horrific run defense. It's going to be him. It's going to be Gibson. They're both going to eat. I like them both this week. Robinson's a good value at $5,300. Allen Robinson at receiver, I think, is a good value here for only $5,600. And New Orleans, right now, they're 16th against receivers. They're not, horrible, but not all that great. And look for Allen Robinson a lot to get these red zone targets. So I like Allen Robinson at the value that they put him at. Now, I had Josh Palmer. This was before I found out, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams might both play. So, but again, was looking at the value there for him. So, I might have to change that one. But once I did all that, that's when I start looking at my flex option, like how much money I have left. And look what I had enough to spend on. CeeDee Lamb, you talked about it a minute ago. That's a money play right there. Minnesota Vikings, they're 30th against fantasy receivers. I absolutely love CeeDee Lamb this week. Cole Kmet, Atlanta, 25th against fantasy tight ends. And I'm going to go with the Patriots because them Jets just suck. And the Patriots own the Jets, especially in Foxborough. Didn't I bring it up the other day that the last time you guys won in Foxborough, Brett Favre was your quarterback? That, my friend, is embarrassing. All right, don't forget to watch this Sunday. Wake up with TSS. 8 a.m. Wake up bright and early. Make sure you follow True Serum Football anywhere you can find on Facebook, Twitter, all that. Jordan is the man. Watch his segment, of course, with us on Tuesdays. The Judge is money where it matters. Again, hit that subscribe button. You got the Jester Sack to give away, so you want to get on that. You gotta love Freddie Sack, indeed. We appreciate you guys. Don't forget, go to tssfantasy.com as well. Shop and compare those rankings because, again, this is a big week for all of us in fantasy land. All right, guys, we appreciate you, and we are out.
We're on a mission. We're on a mission.